greatest show on earth is here, and Fan Central goes into extra time for 39 days right throughout FIFA's Showpiece tournament, with a Pepsi in hand, of course. Catch the playbook with a tactical breakdown from our expert coaches. Come sit in our fan corner, where you have your say on the day's action. Fame or shame, who were the best or worst players of the day, and have a laugh as we share some of the best reactions on social media. After the final whistle, it's extra time. Fan Central Extra Time. 8 p.m. daily with 10 p.m. shows on select days where there are 8 p.m. match kickoffs.
Fan Central Extra Time is brought to you by the Pepsi Football Nation, where fans make the rules. Football, better with Pepsi. We also want to thank Digicel. Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel.
Hey, what I want?
Hi, I am Candy Pang.
What I want?
What a guan?
That a guan pa.
What I want?
What a guan?
What a guan! Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
And that's a guan pa. What a guan?
Tonight, we begin with a debate that could shape the political future of Portmore. As Jamaica's newest parish takes form, the process to determine its electoral boundaries has come under scrutiny. The opposition says there are serious concerns about consultation and transparency, with St. Catherine's South East MP Dr. Alfred Dawes vowing to boycott the upcoming meetings. We examine the issues at the center of the dispute and what this could mean for representation in Portmore. Also tonight, Central Westmoreland MP Dwayne Vaz steps away from his role as opposition deputy spokesperson on local government. Mr. Vaz says his decision is personal, but his move has raised questions about his next political steps as the country moves closer to the next general elections. Then, a court initiative designed to clear backlogs of traffic cases is facing questions after some motorists allege they were held in poor conditions while waiting to appear before a judge. We look at the controversy surrounding the Court Administration Division's Traffic Ticket Days initiative and the balance between enforcement and the rights of those in custody. And later, Jamaica reflects on the life and contribution of former Cabinet Minister and PNP stalwart Dean Peart, who has died. We discuss his political journey, his service to the country, and the legacy he leaves behind. I'm Tyrone Reed, and this is Lead Story. Welcome back. I'm Tyrone Reed. Again, this is Lead Story. Of course, this issue has been the subject of much debate and controversy. The creation of Portmore, Jamaica's 15th parish, has brought with it the task of reviewing electoral boundaries. But before that process can fully get underway, there is already disagreement over how the consultations are being conducted. St. Catherine's South East Member of Parliament, Dr. Alfred Dawes, has announced that he will boycott the boundary review meetings, saying the exercise lacks credibility and fails to adequately engage the people it will affect. So what are his concerns and what impact could they have on the process? Joining me later on will be the MP for St. Catherine's South East, that's Dr. Alfred Dawes. But before we go to Dr. Dawes, who should be joining us in studio, let's have a listen of this interview that he gave at the weekend.
Okay, sir. So you participated in this boundary alignment meeting. So tell us some of the sticking points that came out of the meeting, and whether or not you're satisfied with the direction that the discussions are taking?
Well, my participation is going to be limited for the simple reason this is a kangaroo committee. As much as you'd hear about a kangaroo court, they have already decided that they're going to form a Portmore parish, and it is based on gerrymandering. Last time I checked, voters chose who their elected representatives were. I never see anywhere where elected representatives choose who their voters are. And this is what has happened. So I'm not going to co-sign to anything because they can say it was passed by both houses of parliament. I know they're going to say that they have consultations with the members of parliament and the elected officials in Portmore. That's nonsense. They decided that they're going to draw some lines in the sand as if they are some colonial masters. They have turned neighbors into people who live in different parishes with very little consideration for how their goals of trying to garrisonize East Central St. Catherine is going to affect people who are living in the space. No proper consultation for the people, none whatsoever with the elected officials, and I expect us now to come on board and bicker about which meandering line we can change or suggest to be changed. There is no power for this committee. It's an absolute waste of time, and I will not be going back.
That interview there, of course, was done by the Gleaner newspaper. Dr. Alfred Dawes not pleased with what's taking place at the Boundary Review Committee meetings, and he has vowed to not return to those meetings. We're hoping to be joined by the St. Catherine Southeast Member of Parliament, Dr. Alfred Dawes, who you just saw in that clip, and of course, to discuss this issue. We also tried for the Director of Elections to be with us, and I'm still waiting on the final word as to whether or not the Director of Elections will be able to join us as well on the phone to give us some additional clarity. What's really taking place at these review meetings? What's really happening? Why is the Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Catherine so incensed to the point that he's refusing to participate in the process any further? And of course, all of this taking place against the backdrop of what is usually, at least publicly, cordial relations and discussions at the level of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, who really oversees the conduct of elections via the Electoral Office of Jamaica. So what's really happening? There are independent commissioners. There are also commissioners who are nominated by the political parties to participate at the ECJ. But what's really taking place at the level of these boundary meetings is what we're trying to decipher this evening. And hopefully we'll be able to be joined by Dr. Alfred Dawes. I'm being told he was stuck in traffic and he's trying to make his way to be with us here in studio. We're also going to try to reach him on Glasspool Brown is with us. Yes, Glasspool Brown, the Director of Elections. Glasspool Brown, thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon to you and your viewers.
I appreciate it. We know it's on short notice, Glasspool Brown. We appreciate the public service you're doing here. Not certain if you were able to catch the comments there from the St. Catherine Southeast Member of Parliament, Dr. Alfred Dawes, concerning what's taking place at the Boundary Review meetings. He has vowed not to return. That's how incensed he is. What's happening? Do you know? And what really needs to happen to ensure that there is consensus on this issue?
Well, I didn't hear Dr. Dawes going, but let me just put in context in terms of our involvement. That is the Electoral Commission of Jamaica and the Electoral Office of Jamaica. The EOJ the ECJ was mandated by the Boundaries Committee of Parliament to undertake some work on behalf of the Boundaries Committee of Parliament. Bear in mind, the area that is designated the parish of Portmore was passed in the House, and then it was brought to the courts. The Chief Justice made formal orders. I think it was 4 points. I think one aspect of it dealt with the issue that the change in terms of the establishment of Portmore should not come into effect. Effect means at the point where the Governor General signs the order for it to be a core parish until the matter of Section 67 of the Constitution is dealt with, so that there is no breach of that of Section 67. Section 67 of the Constitution clearly states that no constituency boundary should go back across parish boundary. So therefore, we were instructed by the boundaries of Committee of Parliament to undertake that work, and that we are now in the process. The process entails, in terms of the guideline, as agreed to at the Commission, and I think you had said earlier on the makeup of the Commission, that for boundary review to take place, you must establish what is known as a Parish Boundary Forum and also a Parish Boundary Advisory Committee. We are now in that stage. We have started the consultation, so we are going through the consultation in terms of completing the work based on instructions that we got from the Boundaries Committee of Parliament.
So, Brown, if I'm hearing you, and a point you just made there, Glasspool Brown, is that no constituency boundary should cut across a parish boundary. Did I hear you correctly on that?
That's correct. It's clear in the Constitution. If you look at Section 67 of the Constitution, that's what it states.
And you've been at these meetings? Have you attended the meetings of the Boundary Review Committee?
Well, there are two meetings so far now. We had our first initial meeting. It was basically a kickoff meeting where we invited all the relevant parties to that meeting. And then now we have broken it out into individual meetings. So there's a Boundaries Committee meeting for Portmore and then one for St. Catherine.
So you wouldn't be able to say why Dr. Dawes is so incensed, would you?
I'm not sure of the reason as to why he needs to explain that. We know in terms of the guidelines, we are following the guidelines. And I said earlier, the guidelines require the establishment of these committees. And these committees the makeup of the committees are clear. The membership of the committees were nominated by both the General Secretary of the People's National Party and the General Secretary of the Jamaican Labour Party.
All right.
So we have established those guidelines. So we have started the work using GIS technology, etc., etc. I think if I heard correctly, there's some concern about the consultation of the community members of the committee. That will take place later on.
All right, hold the line for me, please, Glasspool Brown. Joining us in studio now is the St. Catherine South East Member of Parliament, Dr. Alfred Dawes. He has made it. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Dawes. Good to see you again. You heard it from the Director of Elections. He says the guidelines are being followed. Why are you so incensed to the point that you are saying you won't return to any of these meetings?
So we have to make a distinction between following guidelines and following protocols and legal precedents and what Parliament says. And we have to contrast that with what is morally just and correct. And what is happening is something that is immoral and unjust. The entire creation of a Portmore parish is one of the most vulgar acts of gerrymandering I have ever seen. They cut a parish with the specific purpose of creating a garrison in East Central St. Catherine. What they have done is, without any reason, they have chosen to draw a line that excludes 8 of the People's National Party strongholds, just eliminating voters from voting in East Central St. Catherine.
I want you to hold the point there for me. We are up on a break, listeners and viewers. This is Lead Story. We're talking with the Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown, and we also have with us in studio the St. Catherine South East Member of Parliament, Dr. Alfred Dawes. We'll take a break and come back with some more from them.
Unemployment rate has fallen to 3.3%, down from 13.2% in 2016. Our government's continued focus on job creation is delivering real results. We are building Jamaica. The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
The previous municipality of Portmore is known for producing traffic and mosquitoes, but the parish status being granted to the area is producing controversy, and of course that controversy continues. We have with us Dr. Alfred Dawes, one of the MPs out in St. Catherine there. Of course, Dr. Dawes, you were responding to the clarity that was being brought to us by the Director of Elections, saying the guidelines are being followed. But you were making a distinction. Let's hear the case that you're making as to why you don't want to return to these meetings.
There's a distinction between following guidelines and following what is morally just. We are a country that has been built on resistance to unjust laws, whether it was Sam Sharp's rebellion to Paul Bogle's insurrection in '65. We cannot tolerate the use of the law to shape some person's quest for power to cut off Portmore so that they have hegemony over the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation and to create a garrison in in East Central St. Catherine. And these are things that have been said on political platforms by members of the JLP. The municipality has a history of consultation. When the boundaries were established, it was written into the law that if there is to be any change to the boundaries of what is Portmore, then it takes at least 1/7 of the electorate in Portmore to cast a vote to say, yes, it can be adjusted. What has happened is that Warmington and his crew have decided that they are going to be like the European powers at the Berlin conference, to just draw lines on a map and create states or entities that are loyal to them. What they have done is
Berlin conference, Dr. Dawes?
That is what happened, why Africa has been shared up.
And this is what you're likening this to?
I am likening what they did to the people of Portmore to what the Europeans did to Africa at the Berlin conference.
And you don't think that's a bit over the top?
They have drawn lines through, for example, Phoenix Park community. So you have a neighbor and the neighbor is suddenly in one parish and you are in another parish. The people of Lime Tree, Lilliput and Lakespen, they have always voted in East Central, and there's no reason why you should cut off 8 polling divisions out of the smallest constituency in Portmore for no other reason than those 8 polling divisions traditionally vote PNP.
What about what we're being told by the Director of Elections? No constituency boundary should cut across
and that is what
a parish boundary.
And that is what they have done. They created a parish, which is why I said it's the most vulgar form of gerrymandering, because you create a parish, and instead of using the constituencies that exist in Portmore to form the boundaries of the parish, they deliberately cut out these areas with no explanation. No obvious explanation other than what they said on political platform, that they are creating a garrison and they're cutting out the PNP areas. That is why we are stuck now with this Boundaries Commission and the court challenge, because they decided that for this parish to be created, it must exclude those PNP strongholds. That is what they've done.
What about those who are listening to you, Dr. Dawes, and they're saying, because we're almost out of time, they're saying, look, you're just upset because you might lose the election.
No. My constituency is not affected, but it is the principle. Portmore has been built on consultation, and a few men in a room without any consultation with the people of Portmore decided that they're going to rob them of their hard-fought gains to have the only directly elected mayor, not just in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, and to have something built in where to change the boundary, you must go back to the people and consult them. You have disenfranchised them. In addition to that, the municipality has a representative from the citizens associations who sits with the councillors. That too is gone. So you have weakened the power of the people of Portmore. You have cut out people who have forever considered themselves part of Portmore, and you have stated it specifically that you did it to create a stronghold for the JLP. And the Jamaican people must see what is happening, understand that this is what these guys are doing with the power that they have. They have very little regard for the common man and the rights of the common man, and we must fight it.
If you do have a seat at the table, you do have a voice to continue to change what's happening.
I've said it, it is a kangaroo committee. It has no powers except to recommend changes. And they can decide what changes they are going to accept. They have already decided what they're going to do. They will not have me co-signing this.
We have to leave it there. You heard there from the MP, Dr. Dawes. He's saying it's a kangaroo committee. The Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown, are you still with us? I give you one last word before we have to end it here. Glasspool Brown?
Just to say, I've heard what Dr. Dawes said, but from the ECJ, EOJ end, we have nothing to do with parish boundary. Our remit and our authority is to deal with constituency boundary. And bear in mind that our involvement certainly is based on an instruction that came from the Boundaries Committee of Parliament, both voted by the members of the committee, referring to the ECJ to undertake an assignment, and that's our involvement. So involvement is not on the parish boundary or how the parish boundaries have been so demarcated, but our involvement is solely looking as it relates to the constituency boundaries and electoral divisional boundaries. That's where our involvement is. We have nothing to do from the ECJ as it relates to that. Just a matter of in terms of the involvement of the community, a part of the process, and we did table at the first meeting at the conference center a schedule of activities that we intend to embark upon. A part of that schedule is a consultation with the membership of the community of Portmore. What it means, any ordinary citizen can make submission to the committee in terms of any concern, etc., and will be looked at the end of the day.
So the process doesn't end here?
No.
Thank you very much, Glasspool Brown, Director of Elections. Appreciate the time and the thoughts.
Okay, good.
I also want to say thanks to Dr. Alfred Dawes for joining us. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Good seeing you again, man. All right, we are going to switch gears now. Of the appointments, political appointments, that is, often attract attention, but so do decisions to step away from them. Central Westmoreland Member of Parliament, Dwayne Vaz, has announced that he is stepping down as opposition deputy spokesperson on local government. While he has described the move as a personal decision, it has sparked questions about his future role within the opposition and his plans going forward. Joining me now to provide some additional insight into why he's stepping away is Dwayne Vaz, Member of Parliament. MP Vaz, thank you so much for joining us on Lead Story.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to your listeners for paying attention.
All right, so MP Vaz, some folks say everything is personal from your person. So what's really happening? Why are you stepping away?
Well, firstly, you said I was stepping away from the spokesperson for local government. It's actually deputy spokesman for road and works. That's what I am stepping away from.
All right,
and I said the decision was a personal one. I had a discussion with the party leader last Tuesday. And based on our discussions and the points I put across and what he put across, we came to a decision that, I came to a decision that the best thing for me to do at this time would be to relinquish my role as the deputy spokesperson for Road and Works. And the reason why I'm doing that, and it's not necessarily personal alone, it's because of constituency and regional matters. And note that the release that came out from the party stated constituency matters. So it's really two things. It's constituency and region. And let me explain. Read the constituency, where we stand now in Central Westmoreland, we have two new divisional chairmen in Savlamar and in Petersfield. And as a constituency executive, we are ensuring that the organization is in place to ensure that whenever any elections are called, then we are ready and able to have victory for the People's National Party. I wanted to be in the middle of that as the leader in the constituency, and I decided that I would take that time to really spend time with those candidates to ensure that we get the level of organization where we are comfortable to ensure victory for the PNP. The other aspect is from the regional standpoint, and another release that have come out that I'm going for regional chairman for the party. And this is something that I discussed with the current regional chairman, and he had given me his full support. And I think where we are as a region now, and many people would have been reaching out to me for the past 2 years to go back to the helm of the region where I was chair before at some point. So my decision to run as region chair is also to ensure that I set a platform where we'll be better able to lobby for resources to come to the parishes that were devastated by Hurricane Melissa. We are not getting the resources from the government that is needed for us to get back to where we were before the hurricane. And parishes like Westmoreland, Hanover, and St. James, which are the parishes in Region 6 for the PNP, were severely affected by the hurricane. And when I put things into perspective and listen to what persons are saying to me, persons think to move the region forward and to, not only politically, but from a humanitarian standpoint, they think I'm the best person to go forward. So resigning from the spokesperson position was to give me some more time to concentrate on the constituency and to concentrate on Region 6. It was nothing contentious. There were no arguments as what people are trying to portray with the party leader. There was no serious disagreement. So we spoke, and as I said, I came to that conclusion for myself that I think that was best for me and best for the party at this point in time.
All right. So, and the issue involving, because you were recently accused by a PNP councillor who is now an erstwhile PNP councillor, as she has stepped down. That's Julian Chang, accused you publicly of sexual harassment. Of course, you've denied those claims. This has nothing to do with that, Mr. Vaz?
Nothing at all to do with that. This decision is based totally on what I just said. It has nothing to do with anybody apart from what I think is best for me and the party at this point in time.
And I'm almost out of time, but I have to ask you this. Can you rule out for the people of Jamaica that we won't be hearing that any charges will be leveled against you?
From day one, whatever arguments came up, I dismissed them. The party was in the process of investigation. So there is nothing to charge me for. And anybody who would have read into the messages that was there, we would have known that there's nothing to charge me for. So as I state clearly, what we're talking about now is me moving forward with regards to the political aspect of the constituency and the region. We have areas that need to be strengthened, and I think, and most people think across the region, that I am the best person to lead that process going forward. There are some systematic changes that must be made, and tough decisions with regards to our systems that we use.
I'm out of time, Dwayne Vaz, but I have to ask you, you are not the subject of a police investigation involving this Julian Chang matter. That's not happening.
I'm not, and I was never subject of an investigation with regards to that.
Thank you very much.
And I thought that was cleared up months ago.
Thank you very much for the clarity that you've brought to that subject matter, Dwayne Vaz. We appreciate it. Thanks for the time and the thoughts.
Okay.
Indeed. All right, this is Lead Story. We take another break and come back with more.
Right. thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
Hey, what a one?
Hi, I am Candy Pang and
What a guan?
What a guan?
That a guan, pa. What a guan? What a guan?
What a one! Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
And that's a guan, pa. What a guan?
The greatest show on earth is here, and Fan Central goes into extra time for 39 days right throughout FIFA's Showpiece tournament. With a Pepsi in hand, of course. Catch the playbook with a tactical breakdown from our expert coaches. Come sit in our fan corner where you have your say on the day's action. Fame or shame? Who are the best or worst players of the day? And have a laugh as we share some of the best reactions on social media. After the final whistle, it's extra time. Fan Central Extra Time. 8 p.m. daily with 10 p.m. shows on select days where there are 8 p.m. match kickoffs.
Fan Central Extra Time is brought to you by the Pepsi Football Nation, where fans make the rules. Football, better with Pepsi. We also want to thank Digicel. Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel.
Welcome back to Lead Story. The Court Administration Division's Traffic Ticket Days initiative was created to help reduce the thousands of outstanding traffic matters before the Kingston and St. Andrew Traffic Court. However, the initiative has come under the spotlight of some motorists who were taken into custody on outstanding warrants claimed they were held in a bathroom at the National Arena while waiting to appear before a judge. The claims have raised questions about the conditions under which persons were held and whether their rights were protected during the exercise. We are to be joined by the president of the All Voice Taxi Association, Lorraine Finnegan, as well as the Area 4 Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Michael Phipps. Now, I'm not certain how many of our viewers saw the images in the Jamaica Observer of the individuals being held in what appears, by the looks of it, to be a bathroom facility. That's where they were held. What was really taking place with the Court Administration Division? Who took that decision to have the individuals, though being on warrants, held in that particular area? Is that acceptable? Yes, is it acceptable? Were the rights of those individuals breached? And of course, that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk to one of the Taxi Association bosses, as well as the area commander for and he's an assistant commissioner of police, that's Michael Phipps. And we're hoping to be joined by them in a few ticks. How would you feel, viewers, if you were held in a bathroom facility because you did not pay your traffic tickets? There might be some of you who are watching who may advance that, look, you broke the law and you should accept whatever punishment is meted out to you, including being held in a bathroom facility. But is that really the case? Will that argument fly? Should it stand? That you are to just accept whatever punishment you receive? Or is there a minimum basic standard that all Jamaicans, whether or not they've run afoul of the law, should be held to in terms of treatment? That is what we want to drill down into. We did try for the Court Administration Division to join us, and we weren't successful, but we have Lorraine Finnegan. He is the boss of the All Voice Taxi Association. He joins us now via the telephone. Lorraine Finnegan, top of the evening to you. Welcome to Lead Story.
Good afternoon and thanks for having me.
Indeed, Lorraine Finneking, like many Jamaicans, I gather you are by now are aware of what happened with the individuals being held in what appeared to be a bathroom facility. Are you okay with that?
No, absolutely not. It is something that we consider totally unacceptable. Totally.
Right, you're not coming through so clearly to me, Mr. Finneking, so I'd love for you to repeat that response for us, and if you could speak a bit more into the device. I was asking, are you okay with the reports that people are being held in a bathroom facility?
No, we are not okay with it. In fact, from the sector point of view, that situation is totally unacceptable by us.
Do you know of anyone who was subjected to that kind of treatment?
Yeah, one of the person that was in it is personally known by me.
Is he a taxi operator?
Yes, he is.
And he's a member of your association?
No, he's not.
So what's the next step for your association in registering your discontent with this approach by the Court Administration Division?
All right, so we have prepared a letter. It is not yet sent off. It was prepared about 1 p.m. today. Well, not one letter, 3 letters. One to the Minister of Transportation, one to the Minister of Justice, and one to the Court Administration Department. And the letter is stating our disappointment in the way the motorists were treated at the court at the arena, and the inhumane condition that they were held in or detained in because they had warrants.
So what about those who argue that you've broken the law? You should accept what is being meted out to you. Is that a reasonable argument?
That I will support the argument that you have broken the law. So the law must have its course, but I cannot support any argument or any action that would have had motorists, citizens of this country, human beings, subjected to such a type of condition that we have seen in the report of the Jamaica Observer.
And do you know, were you able to identify the area that they were held in? One of the photos making the rounds did show a toilet in the background. Have you been able to establish where exactly they were being held?
Well, I don't know the area quite well, but the operator that was there, he told us that it's a bathroom facility, it's sanitary facility, and there were persons going in and out. We can just imagine thousands of persons, hundreds of persons being at the arena on that day, using the sanitary convenience that is there. That would be a lot of traffic going in and out of that facility. And to have persons hold in that area under detention because of warrant, that cannot be acceptable enough.
And I can hear you stridently opposing it. I just want to read for you and for our viewers, Mr. Finneking, a quote attributed here to an upset male motorist by the Jamaica Observer. It reads, "They were holding people in toilets around there. The stench around there was unbearable. The National Arena is big. They could have parted off a section and have us sit there. A lady even came in there to clean and do her thing. We come here to plead guilty. They didn't have to put us in the toilet," says an upset male motorist. How do you respond to that?
Well, while I was not there, I feel the pain, I feel the discomfort that the motorist went through. And my position is, you see, the court administration prepared a screening area that when you come, you go through that area, and if you are found to have warrant, they prepared the police post for you to go to. And the director emphasized that you will not be taken there in handcuffs. You will be just taken there ordinarily. They also prepare a special courtroom to deal with those who have warrants. So they prepare a screening area, they prepare the police post if you have warrant, and they prepare a courtroom to deal specifically with those motorists that have warrants. So with all that preparation, why wasn't a area prepared for those that will be held in custody?
I'm not certain if you've heard the response, the defense from the Court Administration Division, but let me read it for you. According to an article published by the Jamaica Observer on Friday, it appears Tresha Cameron Anglin, she's the Chief Executive Officer at the CAD, pointed out that the people with warrants would usually be taken to a police lockup when arrested. And the quote from Mrs. Cameron Anglin is, why we had them there was because the police needed to have them in a contained space. They were in custody and were brought on a warrant because they did not pay their tickets. These persons have multiple tickets and the police were looking for them. Otherwise, they would be in lockup at Elliston Road, said Cameron Anglin. She disclosed that on Wednesday of last week, it appears, 4,280 tickets were processed, with motorists paying fines totaling approximately $30 million. Up to midday on Thursday, 1,200 tickets had been processed. So she's saying either it's that error with the toilet or a police lockup. Pick your poison is apparently what's being said. Do you accept that, Mr. Finicky?
We don't accept that. And when you listen to the response from that individual from the CAD, it is clear in my mind that they have no remorse and they have no apology for what took place. You know, some years ago, a minister of government visited one of the locations of the NSWMA, and he stated publicly on the radio that the areas in which they work, if it is not suitable for him, the minister, to be there, it cannot be suitable for any of those workers, even though they work in the garbage collection industry. The point I'm trying to make is, would that individual from CAD, if they were found in a position that they have warrant, would they be comfortable staying under such conditions? And when you listen to the response from that person, it shows that they have no apology. They don't have no remorse for what happened.
What about those who argue, Mr. Finnicking, that the condition of some of the lockups are far worse than what those persons were subjected to at the national arena?
You know, I'm not going to go down that road, and I'll tell you why. The lockup that I understand that these first are taken in the condition that it is in. That is separate and apart from you have a ticket publicly, you have adequate facility that you could prepare a proper holding area and put the citizens of this country into a bathroom, a toilet facility to stay while they were being processed, whether to pay, whether to clear up their warrants or to be taken to the police station. So in comparing the police station to what is happening at the arena, that is poor excuse.
And they did in fact, Mr. Finnicking, turn up voluntarily at the location, yes?
Yeah, the motorists turn up voluntarily. In fact, when the ticket special court day was announced, operators were rushing to get their appointment for the 2 days.
All right, I'm almost out of time, Mr. Finnicking, but I have to ask you this. Is legal action being contemplated?
No, not at this time.
Lorraine Finnicking, thank you so very much for taking the time to be with us. Of course, he's the boss of the One Voice Taxi Association. Thank you so much. We'll take a break right here on Lead Story and come back with more.
Yeah.
All right, stand by.
You want me to look this up?
Yeah. 4, 3, 2.
What
What is meant by bank failure?
A bank fails when it cannot meet its financial obligations to depositors.
So if the bank fail, that means that we can't draw the money? That remind me of the woman where they run the partner and name off the money. Could even get withdraw.
However, in the event of bank failure, your savings are protected by JDIC
and insured up to 1.2 million per depositor, per ownership category, and per institution.
So you mean to tell me if the bank fails, I get back up to $1.2 million?
All of the accounts you have in the bank in the same name, JDIC I go add them up.
So if you have $400,000 in the bank, you are going to get it back.
But the most anybody can get back is 1.2 million per depositor, per ownership category, and per institution.
JDIC, now go on with things, man.
JDIC, protecting deposits
for you and me.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
Welcome back. Thank you so very much for sticking and staying with us right here inside Lead Story. Inside tonight's closing segment, we focus on the life of Dean Peart. For decades, Dean Peart was a prominent figure in Jamaican politics, serving as a member of parliament, a cabinet minister, a senior member of the People's National Party as well. Following his passing, tributes have continued to pour in from across the political divide, with many remembering him for his commitment to public service. But what will be his enduring legacy? We are hoping to be joined by political commentator Lloyd B. Smith in a few ticks, just to have him locate the man, Dean Peart, yes, and what will be his enduring legacy. In our midday newscast, we did have a clip from his relatives who are really struggling to cope with this loss. We carried a story at midday, and we would love to play that clip back for you. But as we are going through, and if you're looking at our screen, we're showing you some photographs of the man, Dean Peart. Many say he lived a life of service. Lloyd B. Smith, he joins us now. Lloyd B. Smith, top of the evening to you. Welcome to Lead Story.
Good evening, sir. Glad to be on your program once again.
Absolutely glad to have you on, Lloyd B. Smith. Locate for us Dean Peart.
Well, he's one of Manchester's royalties, I would say, from northwestern Manchester, where he served 5 consecutive terms. He's part of what one would call the Peart dynasty, starting with his father, who was also a member of Parliament, and of course Michael, who became Speaker of the House. So he's part of a tremendous dynasty of politicians that really, have stood out over the years, and in his particular way has gained the respect and love and admiration of his colleagues across the aisle. I wish we had more like him in the House of Parliament today.
And why would you say that? Why would you say you wish we had more people like Dean Peart in Parliament today? What particular quality would have occasioned that?
Well, he was a man of impeccable integrity. No one could question that. He also was affable, and he also, interestingly, didn't take any prisoners. He could be very blunt and off the cuff, but at the same time, he did it with grace and aplomb. And because of this sort of, seemingly laid back way of doing things, but very assertive, very compassionate with respect to his constituents. I mean, here's a man who built over 14 community centers in his constituency, and paying a lot of attention to the education of his constituents. So he really stands out as one of our better parliamentarians and has been extremely exemplary, not loud, not abrasive, a gentleman in many ways, a family man, and a Jamaican patriot from all indications.
And 5 consecutive terms on the political side of things, Lloyd B. Smith. That's quite the feat, isn't it?
Of course it is, and no one could say that he was representing one of those constituencies that we tend to refer to with a certain amount of, skepticism. It wasn't a garrison constituency by any stretch of the imagination. It was primarily a rural constituency, and Jamaican country people, when they love you as a politician and when they love you, it is because they sense that you love them, and I think in the case of Dean, obviously his constituents warmed towards him, he warmed towards them, they knew he was for them, and that's the kind of leadership we want in our constituencies, people who exercise a great deal of what we call emotional intelligence, not standing above, but intermingling with his people and giving them the best that he could have done in his time.
And it sounds as if he lived in the constituency, Lloyd B. Smith.
Yes, I've always been Manchesterian from the sons, and as I said, I put part of the Manchester Royals, They have really embedded themselves and entrenched themselves in the and the other thing to know, Tyrone, is if the constitution, he was of Mandeville and member of Parliament, then parliamentary secretary. So he ran the full gamut of political system, which was highly commendable, and he did so with style, no braggadocio, and is remembered as such. When you look at the tributes that are coming from the PMP itself, his colleagues across the aisle speak that the man is a man among men, and he deserves all the accolades that he's now.
A man among men, says Lloyd B. Smith. Lloyd B. Smith, finally, what would you say is his single greatest accomplishment?
representation. It may almost try to take that, but a lot of our politicians do not really represent. They profess that they're to be chest and to because they make good. Dean was not like that. He was from people. He was with the people. They loved him. He loved them, and there was this tremendous intermingling of emotions and respect, you know. And to me, he was the consummate politician, the consummate political representative, exemplary one that I hope many more members of parliament will seek to emulate.
It's interesting, Lord B. Smith, that you say that his single greatest accomplishment as a politician is that he's known for representation, that he represented the people he served. Some may say he's a unicorn in that respect. Thank you so much, Lord B. Smith. Appreciate the time and the thoughts.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Indeed. Well, all right. Tonight, we examined some of the issues shaping Jamaica's national conversation, from the debate over Portmore's boundary review process to questions about the balance between traffic, law enforcement and the rights of motorists, to Dwayne Vaz's decision to step away from a senior opposition role, and finally, a reflection on the life, times and legacy of a former cabinet minister, Dean Peart. Each of these stories